Hey guys, the purpose of this video is just to catch you up on where we're at in terms of our youth ministry at First Baptist Church of Vernal moving into the future. At this point, I thought I'd do a video since that way we don't have to necessarily have a meeting. I don't think we need to have a meeting at this point, but I do want to catch you up on the survey and the results and then some pastoral considerations for you all to help me and Pastor Ricky on moving into the future. So first, thank you for doing the survey about the current state of our youth program. 12 families responded, and there were just two questions. And the first question was just asking for your thoughts about the current program that consists of Trail Life, AHG, a monthly youth fellowship, and Sunday school. And then that second question was just to get your opinion on Trail Life and American Heritage Girls for teenagers or kids 11 and older, since at our church that's the youth group age. And so really the answers to the first question about the state of the youth program revealed that 6 of our families believe that the current youth program consisting of Trail Life, AHG, Sunday School, and a monthly fellowship is perfect. You do not want any change. And after that, we had some families who want a little bit more. One family wanted a youth fellowship every week. The 2 other families suggested a youth fellowship every 2 weeks. Then one family believed that our youth program is already too much and it needs to be scaled back. And then a couple of families, I don't know who they were because I don't know who answered what question, and that doesn't really matter a whole lot when we're information gathering, but 2 families noted that their teens don't participate. I would suspect those are families with older teens. And so that was, the first question. The second question about specifically Trail Life and AHG for youth, the kids ages 11 through 18. Here's what we had. We had 6 families that were generally positive toward those programs for youth. 3 families were neutral, saying I bring my kid to a midweek event regardless of the program. 2 families were dissatisfied with the programs for youth. 1 believes it's so essential that there's a possibility of them no longer coming if an alternative program is offered. And so the purpose of these questions was just to find out where First Baptist Church of Vernal families were when it comes to kids 11 and older. So we wanted to hear from you guys. We do believe that parents are the most effective disciple makers in their kids' lives. I personally enjoy the Trail Life and American Heritage Girls programs. They have a lot of strengths. They promote mentorship between older and younger Christians within the church. I've never really seen anything like these programs before, and so I'm very thankful for them, and I believe that they're doing some really good things. Now, if you're a parent, particularly of younger teens, 14 and under, the programs make complete sense. Your kids like them, you like them, they're serving you well. The programs, though, do present a few unique challenges that, from a pastor's perspective, are hard to overcome. And so I'd love to hear if you all in the future have some suggestions for me and for Pastor Ricky as we move forward. So the first of those problems that come from these programs are that we do have very few older teens in the program. The programs do seem unattractive to kids once they're 15 or older, it seems. And I know from personal experience as a pastor, there are several instances where I've explained either to a teen who's 15 or older or to a family with teens who are in the higher part of their teenage years, the older part of their teenage years. I've explained that the core of our youth program is Trail Life and American Heritage Girls. And that was either the last time I saw them at church or whatever the context was. I just didn't hear back from them again. I've never had somebody in that age group say, well, that's interesting. I'd like to come, or I'd like my child to come to that. It is more of a program that's great if you were raised in it, but not if you're older and you're coming at it from the outside. So while the program is appealing to younger teens, it is very difficult to get older teens into. And I think these kids are important. So there are 2 aspects to this problem. There's the aspect of reaching new families with older teens. it is unattractive. Most of the time, if they move to town and they're looking for a solid biblical church, and they look to our church or call our church or come for a visit, like I said, that's the last time. And they're generally going to go to like Ashley Valley Calvary Chapel or Vernal Christian Church. And I'm not saying that they can't be benefited at those churches, but I would love for us to be able to serve them well. And I'm not really sure what the best way to do that is. So reaching new families with teens is difficult. And then there's also the problem of our own kids who are currently younger. There's the question that's not answered yet. Consider the 11, 12, 13-year-old who's in the program right now. Will they still be interested in trail life and American Heritage Girls when they're 15, 16, 17 years old? It's worth asking because virtually all of the teens in our church in that age group do not participate in the program. And if they have in the past, they've since dropped out. And so those kids really have nothing outside of Sunday school. And then many of them have been placed into the adult Sunday school class. And so there's no place for them to make Christian friends in their age group. And there's not really a ministry in our church geared toward answering the unique questions that that generation is asking and facing. And so that's the first problem, the difficulty of those programs when it comes to teens who are older. And I think it's easy for us to overlook that because our current youth program is lopsided, where we have a ton of kids on the young end and just a few on the older end. And sadly, we've just kind of ignored the fact that those kids on the older end don't have a ministry for them. Problem number two, problem one was the older teens and the program's not working well with them. Problem number two is that Trail Life and American Heritage Girls are pretty heavy demand on our volunteers. And I believe, as you would know, church members ought to be serving in these programs. They are great to serve in. But people do only have so much time and energy to give to their service at the church. And so a lot of you know how demanding those programs are, so that once a person is regularly involved in Trail Life or American Heritage Girls, it is hard for that person to do much else in the church. They're often at their limit of how much time and energy they can give to the church. And we do want to avoid burning people out at our church. We value our workers and their service to the Lord. We want them to enjoy serving the Lord, not to dread walking through the doors. And so I'm not saying at all these problems need to go, programs need to go away in order to solve these problems. The programs are, as I said before, very effective. I think especially for the younger kids. But we should be thinking through the problems that these programs put before us. And so I'd love your help on this. I want you to know this, if we ever do more youth fellowships that are more frequent or a more comprehensive youth program, I would want you to know that it would be pretty low demand on parents. For example, with the upcoming youth fellowship on January 26th, on that Friday, I've asked that Jackson Pickering and Jackie Linares help me. And they're going to be the young adult volunteers who are there. And they're not parents. And so it's not asking the parents to do even more. It's really a night for you to have a break, go on a date. And that's the kind of thing I'd love to see in our church, opportunities for the kids just to be ministered to and for parents to have a chance to not have to, again, dive in and give a bunch more time and energy. Regarding that upcoming fellowship, another thing we'd like to do to lighten your load is that if your kids have a problem with transportation, Jackson Pickering and we're willing to come out and pick up any kids in the van if transportation is a challenge. Even those who are far away, we would love to come out and pick you up. That's why the church has a van. And I would love to pick up any kids. We want kids at our youth events. And so more frequent youth fellowships wouldn't be the burden that it might seem at first. And I do know too that many of you have homeschooled kids and your kids are at home a lot and you really want them to be in more social contexts. And more frequent youth fellowships, if we were to do those and move in that direction, would be an opportunity for your kids to hang out in a social setting and not in one like Trail Life and American Heritage Girls as well, which kind of separates boys and girls so that the boys and girls really have no idea how to interact with each other. It'd be good to have kind of those mixed groups where they have opportunities at least to talk to each other and interact. But I am excited about the future of our youth ministry. We have a great God. We have a wonderful church with a great theological foundation. We have a concern for the souls of our kids. We want them all to know God. We want them to grow in God, and we want them to serve Him for the rest of their lives. And so our goal as parents and here at our church is just to take advantage of this time that God's given us with our kids to help and prepare them with the gospel, with God's word, and with parents who are intentionally discipling them. And so just prayerfully move forward with me and Pastor Ricky, and we'd love to hear your suggestions moving toward the future. Maybe we will have a meeting at some point, but I just wanted to let you guys know these things. So if you watched the video, thank you for watching, and at least it was shorter than a meeting. And so have a great day. Bye-bye.